The morning I paid off my parents' mortgage started like any other Tuesday. I sat at my desk in my downtown Boston office, staring at the bank transfer confirmation. $297,856.42. My entire savings gone in a single click. The autumn sun streamed through the window as I leaned back in my chair, feeling oddly light. After 15 years of watching my parents struggle with that mortgage, it was finally over. I, Sarah Mitchell, had just turned 35 and had spent the last decade climbing the corporate ladder at a leading investment firm. While my younger sister Amanda coasted through life on our parents' dwindling resources, I saved every bonus, lived modestly, and worked 70-hour weeks, all to reach this moment. My phone buzzed with a text from Amanda. "Don't come home today. Mom and Dad need space." I frowned. Space? After I'd just paid off their house? I called her, but it went straight to voicemail. When I tried my parents' number, the same thing happened. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. I grabbed my coat and left the office early, driving the familiar route to my childhood home in the suburbs, the same two-story colonial where I'd grown up, where I still lived to help my parents with bills. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed the locks had been changed. Brand new deadbolts gleamed on both the front and side doors. My key wouldn't turn. I rang the doorbell, knocked, called out. Nothing. Through the window, I could see moving boxes in the living room. My belongings hastily packed. A note was taped to the door. "Sarah, your financial manipulation of this family ends now. We know you only paid off the mortgage to control us. Your things will be on the porch tomorrow. Don't come back. Mom and Dad." I stood there, knees weak, rereading those words. Financial manipulation? I'd spent my entire adult life helping them, draining my savings to keep them afloat, delaying my own dreams of buying a home. My phone buzzed again. This time, an email from an unfamiliar address. Wilson and Associates Law Firm. "Dear Ms. Mitchell, my name is James Wilson, your late Uncle David's attorney. Per his instructions, this letter was to be delivered to you only in the event that your family betrayed you after a significant financial contribution. Your uncle anticipated this situation and left you something they don't know exists. Please visit my office at your earliest convenience. Regards, James Wilson." Uncle David, my father's brother who'd passed away 6 months ago. The black sheep of the family who'd made his fortune in real estate but lived modestly. The uncle who'd always treated me differently, with a knowing look in his eyes. I sat in my car, hands trembling on the steering wheel, as more pieces fell into place. 2 weeks ago, Amanda had started spending more time at home. She'd been whispering with our parents, conversations that stopped when I entered the room. Mom had asked detailed questions about my finances, my savings accounts. Dad had seemed distracted. Guilty even. They'd been planning this. My phone lit up with a social media notification. Amanda had posted a photo of our parents, all three of them grinning widely. The caption: "Finally free from toxic control. Family celebration time. #bliss, #new beginnings." The comments flooded in. "So brave of you all. About time you stood up to her. Enjoy your freedom." They turned everyone against me before I even knew what was happening. I drove to the law firm in a daze, barely registering the luxurious office building or the elegant reception area. James Wilson was waiting for me, a distinguished man in his 60s with kind eyes and silver hair. "Sarah," he said warmly, "David spoke of you often. Please sit down." He pulled out a thick envelope from his desk drawer. "Your uncle left specific instructions. This was only to be opened if your family took advantage of your generosity in a significant way." He knew them better than they knew themselves. Inside the envelope was a letter in Uncle David's familiar handwriting. "Dear Sarah, if you're reading this, then what I feared has happened. Your parents and sister have shown their true colors. I've watched for years as you sacrifice everything for them while they took and took. They never understood the value of hard work or integrity. Not like you do. What they don't know is that I bought their mortgage from the bank 5 years ago. I am Muz, their real lender. And now that you've paid it off, you own more than just their debt. You own the house itself. The deed is in your name. Always has been from the moment I bought it. Check the county records. But that's not all. I've left you something else. Something that will ensure you never have to sacrifice for them again. Your loving uncle, David." James handed me another envelope. Inside was a deed to a property I didn't recognize, along with bank statements showing an account in my name with a balance that made me gasp. Your uncle transferred everything to you 6 months ago, James explained. The house deed, his investment portfolio, his real estate holdings, all of it. He knew they would try to take advantage of your kind heart one last time. He wanted to make sure you were protected. I sat there, stunned, as James continued. The house they just locked you out of, it's legally yours. Has been for years. They have no right to change the locks or evict you. But why didn't Uncle David tell me sooner? He wanted to see what they would do. He knew they might show their true colors if they thought they could get away with it. And he wanted you to see it too, while ensuring you were protected. As I drove back to my parents' house, my house, I felt a strange mix of emotions. Hurt, betrayal, but also a growing sense of clarity. Years of gaslighting and manipulation suddenly came into sharp focus. The time Amanda crashed my car and blamed me for lending it to her irresponsibly. The family vacation I paid for, where I was conveniently given the smallest room and worst flight times. The countless times my parents had praised Amanda's free spirit while criticizing my obsession with money, even as they cashed my checks. I parked in the driveway and pulled out my phone. No missed calls from them. No concerned messages. Just another Instagram post from Amanda. Some people use money to control others. So toxic. So glad we're free. I took a deep breath and called the locksmith. As the owner of the house, I had every right to change the locks back. While I waited, I made some calls of my own. To a security company, to my bank, to a contractor. By nightfall, I had a plan. But first, I needed to understand why. Why they turned on me so completely. Why they'd chosen this moment to betray me. I opened my laptop and started digging through old emails, bank statements, family photos. Then I found it. A series of messages between Amanda and her parents from 2 weeks ago, blind copied to my work email by mistake. Amanda. Sarah's going to pay off the mortgage. Once she does, we'll have the house free and clear. Then we can finally get rid of her controlling influence. Mom, are you sure this is right? She's still our daughter. Amanda. Mom, she's been manipulating us for years, using money to make us depend on her. This is our chance to break free. I found a buyer who'll give us enough for the house to set us all up somewhere new, somewhere without her. Dad. Okay, but we do this quickly, before she realizes what's happening. They plan to sell my house, the house I just paid off, the house that, thanks to Uncle David, was already mine. My phone buzzed. A text from Amanda. Hope you're not too upset. It's for the best. We need to break free from your toxic influence. Mom and Dad agree. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded the evidence to James Wilson and waited for the locksmith. Tomorrow would be soon enough to show them exactly what they'd done. Tomorrow they would learn that their perfect plan had backfired spectacularly. As I sat in my car watching the locksmith work, I remembered something Uncle David had told me years ago. Not everyone who calls you family deserves that title. Sometimes the best family is the one you choose. I hadn't understood then. I did now. The locksmith finished his work, handing me the new keys. All done, ma'am. Anything else you need? I looked at the house, my house, and smiled. No, thank you. This is just the beginning. My phone buzzed one last time that night. Another email from James Wilson. Sarah, there's one more thing your uncle left for you. A video message. He recorded it just before he passed. I think you should watch it tonight. James. I opened the attachment with trembling fingers. Uncle David's face filled my screen, thinner than I remembered, but with the same knowing smile. Sarah, my dear, if you're watching this, then everything has happened as I feared it would. But don't let their betrayal break you. You're stronger than that. Stronger than all of them. I've watched you sacrifice everything for people who never deserved it. Now it's your turn to thrive. The house is yours. The money is yours. But most importantly, your life is yours. Use it wisely. Use it well. And remember, family isn't always blood. I'm proud of you, kiddo. Show them what you're made of. The video ended, and I sat in my car for a long time, watching the lights go out in my parents' windows. Tomorrow, everything would change. But tonight, for the first time in years, I felt truly free. The next morning dawned crisp and clear. I'd spent the night at a hotel, carefully planning my next moves. At exactly 8 a.m., I watched from my parked car as my parents and Amanda left the house. probably heading to their favorite breakfast spot to celebrate their freedom. Perfect timing. I entered my house, strange how different it felt now, knowing it was legally mine, and began documenting everything. Photos of my hastily packed belongings, the state they'd left my room in, the notes they'd written. Evidence. Then I made some calls. By 9 a.m., a team of contractors had arrived. By 10 a.m., security cameras were being installed. By 11 a.m., I had a state-of-the-art security system with remote monitoring. At noon, my phone exploded with notifications. They'd returned to find workers all over their house. "What are you doing?" Amanda's text screamed in all caps. "Get these people out of our house." I walked out to the driveway where they stood, faces red with anger. Mom clutched her purse like a shield. Dad looked like he might burst a blood vessel. Amanda was already recording with her phone, probably planning another social media takedown. "Good morning," I said calmly. "I see you've noticed the improvements I'm making to my house." "Your house?" Mom sputtered. "We live here. You can't just." "Actually, I can." I pulled out the property deed James had given me. "This house has been in my name for the past 5 years, ever since Uncle David bought the mortgage. The mortgage I just paid off. I was paying myself." The color drained from their faces. That's impossible," Dad stammered. "Check the county records," I replied. "In fact, I have them right here." I handed them copies of all the documentation James had provided. Amanda grabbed them, scanning frantically. "This has to be fake. Uncle David would never." "Uncle David knew exactly what you were all like," I cut in. "He watched for years as you took advantage of me. He made sure I'd be protected when you finally showed your true colors. We were protecting ourselves from you," Amanda shouted, her voice rising hysterically. "From your financial manipulation." I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Financial manipulation? You mean paying the bills you couldn't manage? Covering Amanda's credit card debt? Funding family vacations I was barely included in? I turned to my parents. "Did you even read the messages Amanda sent you? About selling the house once I paid off the mortgage? About taking the money and running?" Mom's face crumpled. Dad wouldn't meet my eyes. Amanda kept filming. "This is harassment," she declared to her phone camera. "Everyone, watch how toxic, money-obsessed people try to control their family." "By all means, keep recording," I said calmly. "Document everything, including the part where you all conspired to sell property that wasn't yours. That's fraud, by the way, and I have the emails to prove it." I got their attention. "You're bluffing," Amanda said, but her hand holding the phone trembled slightly. I pulled out my tablet and played the email thread I'd found. Their voices filled the driveway, discussing their plan to trick me into paying off the mortgage before selling the house. "I've sent copies to my lawyer," I added, "just in case you're thinking of trying anything else." "What do you want?" Dad finally asked, his voice small. "Want? I want you to understand exactly what you've done. I want you to realize that your perfect plan just backfired spectacularly. But mostly, I want you out of my house." "You can't evict us," Mom cried. "We're your parents." "I can and I will. But I'm not heartless like you. You have 30 days to find a new place. I'll even give you your first month's rent somewhere else. Consider it a parting gift." Amanda wasn't done. "I'll post everything. Tell everyone how you're throwing your own family out on the street." I smiled. "Go ahead. Post the video you're taking right now. Show everyone how you plan to defraud me, sell my house, and run away with the money. I'm sure that'll go over well." She lowered her phone slowly. "Oh, and Amanda," I added, "those credit cards you've been using, the ones in my name that I've been paying off, they're canceled. Hope you have a backup plan for rent this month." Her face went pale. "You wouldn't?" "I already did. About an hour ago." Just then, James Wilson's car pulled into the driveway. He stepped out, briefcase in hand. "Perfect timing," I said. "Shall we go inside and discuss the terms of your departure?" "My lawyer has prepared everything." The next hour was a blur of paperwork and legal terms. My family sat shell-shocked as James outlined their options: leave peacefully within 30 days with a modest relocation payment, or face fraud charges for their attempted scheme. "This isn't right," Mom kept saying. "We're family." "Family doesn't plot to steal from each other," I replied. "Family doesn't change the locks and throw someone out after they've paid off your debt. Family doesn't post cruel lies on social media to turn everyone against you. We did it because you were controlling us with money. Amanda protested. No, I said quietly. You did it because you thought you could get away with it, because you've always seen me as nothing but a bank account. Well, congratulations. You've lost your bank account and your house. As they left that afternoon, defeated and angry, I felt no satisfaction, only a deep, aching sadness for what could have been. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. A video attachment. Uncle David again, but a different message. Sarah, if you're watching this, you've just confronted them. You're probably feeling guilty, questioning if you did the right thing. Stop that right now. You've given them enough. It's time to give something back to yourself. I looked around my empty house, truly mine now, and realized he was right. It was time to start living for myself. But first, I had one more surprise for them. Something that would ensure they understood exactly what their betrayal had cost them. I pulled out Uncle David's final letter and began to read. Uncle David's final letter changed everything. As I read it in my now quiet house, my hands trembled. Sarah, by now, they've probably realized they've lost the house. But that's not all they've lost. Remember that old warehouse of mine on the waterfront? The one your father always called a worthless investment? Well, it's not a warehouse anymore. The development project finished last month. It's now luxury condominiums worth $25 million. Your father and Amanda came to me last year, asking to be part of the project. I told them I'd consider adding them to my will. They were so sure they'd inherit it all. That's why they felt confident enough to betray you. They thought they had a backup plan. What they don't know is that I sold the property 3 months before my death. To you. For $1. Check the second set of papers in James' office. Sometimes the best revenge is letting people destroy themselves. Love, Uncle David. I called James immediately. Within an hour, he brought over the property documents. Everything was in order. I owned not just the house, but a luxury development worth millions. The next morning, right on cue, Amanda's name flashed on my phone. Did you know? She demanded without preamble. About Uncle David's warehouse. The condominiums? Yes, I know about them. They're supposed to be ours. Dad and I had an agreement with him. I could hear my father in the background saying something about lawyers and contesting the will. Actually, I said calmly, Uncle David sold them before he died. They belong to someone else now. Who? Amanda's voice was frantic. We'll buy them out, Dad says. They belong to me, Amanda. Uncle David sold them to me for $1, 3 months before he died. It's all perfectly legal. The silence on the other end was deafening. That's impossible, she whispered. Those units are worth $25 million, yes. Quite a bit more than the house you tried to steal from me. I heard the phone drop, followed by muffled voices. Then Mom came on the line. Sarah, honey, she said in that sweet voice she used when she wanted something. We need to talk about this. We're family. Surely we can work something out. Like how you worked out selling my house behind my back. We were angry, confused. Amanda convinced us, but we can fix this. Come over for dinner. We'll talk. I almost laughed. Mom, you don't have a house to invite me to anymore. Remember. More silence. The moving company will be there tomorrow at 9 a.m., I continued. They'll help you pack. I've arranged for 3 months of storage for your things, paid in advance. That should give you time to find a new place. But where will we go? Her voice cracked. That's not my problem anymore. You made your choice when you changed those locks. After hanging up, I drove to the waterfront to see my new property. The condominiums were stunning, floor-to-ceiling windows, water views, modern architecture. Uncle David had transformed the old warehouse into something magnificent. As I stood there, my phone buzzed with social media notifications. Amanda was at it again. Family betrayal cuts deep. My sister has taken everything from us. Please share our GoFundMe link to help us find a new home. #FamilyCrisis, #PrayForUs. I clicked the link. The campaign description was a masterpiece of manipulation, painting them as victims of my financial abuse and cruel eviction. They were seeking $50,000 for relocation expenses. I took screenshots of everything, then called James. They never learn, do they? He sighed after I forwarded him the links. Send them a cease and desist, I said, and contact GoFundMe about fraudulent claims. Within hours, the campaign was removed. Amanda's social media accounts went mysteriously quiet. That evening, I received an unexpected visitor, my father. Alone. Standing on my doorstep, looking older than I'd ever seen him. "Can we talk?" he asked quietly. I let him in, watching as he took in the changes I'd already made to the house. My house. "Your mother doesn't know I'm here," he said, sitting heavily on the couch. "Amanda either. I need to tell you something." He pulled out an old envelope, yellowed with age. "Uncle David wrote me this letter 5 years ago, when he bought our mortgage. I never showed it to anyone. He warned me this would happen." I took the letter and read Uncle David's familiar handwriting. Asterisk asterisk brother. "I'm buying your mortgage to protect Sarah. I've watched you all take advantage of her kindness for years. It stops now. If you ever betray her trust, you'll lose everything. Not just the house. Everything. The choice is yours. Be better than this. David asterisk asterisk. You knew," I said, my voice hard. "You knew all along, and you still let this happen." Dad nodded, tears in his eyes. "Amanda can be very persuasive. She said we deserve better, that you were controlling us." I knew it wasn't true, but I was weak. "I let her convince your mother, convince me. And now you've lost everything." "Yes," he stood slowly. "I don't expect forgiveness. I needed you to know that Uncle David was right about everything, especially you." He walked to the door, then turned back. "The warehouse, he told me once it would go to someone who deserved it. I should have known it would be you." After you left, I sat in my living room for a long time, reading and rereading Uncle David's letters. He'd seen all of this coming. He'd known exactly what they would do, given the chance. But he'd also given me something more valuable than property or money. He'd given me the strength to stand up for myself. My phone buzzed one last time that night. A text from Amanda. "You've ruined everything. I hope you're happy." I replied with a single message. "No, Amanda, you ruined everything. I just refused to be your victim." Then I blocked her number, poured myself a glass of wine, and began planning the renovations for my new life. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's simply letting people face the consequences of their own actions. Uncle David had known that all along. 6 months later, I stood in my renovated home, barely recognizing the space. Gone were the dated wallpaper and worn carpets of my childhood. In their place, hardwood floors gleamed and modern fixtures caught the morning light. It was finally mine, truly mine, in every way. The waterfront condominiums were thriving. I'd hired a management company to handle the property, and the rental income alone was more than enough to fund my dreams. Uncle David's final gift wasn't just wealth, it was freedom. Through mutual friends and local gossip, I heard about my family's new reality. They'd moved into a small apartment across town, all three of them sharing a cramped 2-bedroom space. Amanda had to get a real job for the first time in her life, working as an entry-level administrative assistant. Mom took part-time work at a local store. Dad, humbled by everything, found work as a night security guard. Their social media campaigns had backfired spectacularly. After my lawyer sent cease and desist letters, complete with evidence of their attempted fraud, they quietly disappeared from the spotlight. The community that had initially rallied around them slowly learned the truth, and their support dwindled. Then, on a rainy Tuesday morning, an unexpected letter arrived. The return address was from a law firm I didn't recognize. "Dear Ms. Mitchell, I represent your maternal grandmother, Eleanor Stevens. She has recently learned of the situation with your family and wishes to meet with you. While she has been estranged from your mother for many years, she has followed your career and life from afar. Please contact our office if you're willing to meet. Sincerely, Margaret Thompson, attorney at law." Grandmother Eleanor. I'd only met her once, when I was very young. Mom always said she was a difficult woman who'd cut ties with the family for no reason. But now I wondered if there was more to that story. I agreed to meet her at her home, an elegant townhouse in the historic district. Eleanor Stevens was a striking woman in her 70s, with sharp blue eyes and an air of quiet dignity. "Sarah," she said warmly, taking my hands in hers, "you look just like your Uncle David." Over tea served in delicate china cups, she told me the real story of our family's past. "Your mother and Amanda are so alike," she said, stirring her tea. "Always wanting the easy path, always feeling entitled to more. They cut me out when I refused to fund their schemes, just like they tried to use you. She pulled out an old photo album. Inside were newspaper clippings, photos, and documents I'd never seen before. Articles about Uncle David's business success, photos of him and Eleanor at charity events, and surprisingly, pictures of me at various ages, graduation, my first job, work events. David kept me informed, she explained. We both watched you grow into someone extraordinary, someone different from the rest of them. Why didn't you ever contact me? David asked me to wait. He said you needed to see them for who they really were, on your own terms. He arranged everything, the house, the development project, all of it, to protect you when the time came. She reached into her desk and pulled out another envelope. This is my gift to you, she said. I'm not as wealthy as David was, but I have something else you might value. Inside was a key and a deed to a small cottage on Cape Cod. It's where I went to heal after I cut ties with your mother, she said softly. Sometimes we need a place that's just ours, somewhere to rebuild. Tears filled my eyes. Thank you. There's more, she continued. I started a foundation in David's name, supporting young professionals who've been financially exploited by family. I'd like you to run it. I stared at her, speechless. Your story isn't unique, Sarah. There are others out there, being used and manipulated by their own family. They need someone who understands, someone who can show them there's a way out. As I drove home that evening, I felt lighter than I had in months. Not because of the cottage or the foundation offer, but because I'd finally found family who understood, who saw me for who I was, not for what I could provide. The next day, I received one final letter from Uncle David, delivered by James. Dated just days before his death, it was different from the others. Dear Sarah, if you're reading this, you've survived the storm. You've reclaimed your life. You've met Eleanor. Now it's time for the final step, forgiveness. Not for them. They haven't earned that yet. Forgive yourself. For all the years you tried to buy love that should have been freely given. For thinking you had to earn your place in a family that didn't deserve you. You have a new family now. Eleanor, James, the people you'll help through the foundation. Sometimes the family we choose is stronger than the family we're born into. Be happy, Sarah. That's all I ever wanted for you. Love always. Uncle David. I took the letter to my new study, once my parents' master bedroom, and pinned it to the wall. Beside it, I hung photos of Uncle David, Eleanor, and the cottage on Cape Cod, my new family wall. That weekend, I drove to the cottage for the first time. Standing on its small deck overlooking the ocean, I finally felt at peace. The waves washed away the last of my guilt, my doubt, my need for their approval. My phone buzzed. A text from Eleanor. The foundation paperwork is ready whenever you are. Your uncle would be so proud. I smiled, watching the sunset paint the water gold. Sometimes, losing a family leads you to the one you were meant to have all along. In the end, Uncle David had given me something far more valuable than property or money. He'd given me the courage to choose myself, to redefine family on my own terms. And that was worth more than all the houses in the world.